Have you ever finished your work early, helped someone else fix theirs, and watched your reward arrive as 3 more tasks before lunch? Meanwhile, the coworker who is always circling back somehow has time to circle an actual lake. You became the reliable one. The person who answers quickly, remembers the details, and can be trusted when something is already smoking. That sounds valuable. It is valuable. But without the right signals, reliability creates a trap. Work does not flow toward the person with the most capacity. It flows toward the person who creates the least friction. That is why good workers often get rewarded with more work instead of more authority, visibility, or money. Your competence becomes an invisible emergency service. The mechanism is called the reliability tax. Once you see how it forms, you can change it without becoming unhelpful, dramatic, or the person who suddenly needs 4 business days to answer a yes or no question. Picture your manager at 4:30 with a deadline, a missing file, and the facial expression of someone who has just discovered consequences. They can assign the problem to 3 people. One person needs a long explanation, one might push back, and then there is you. You say, "Sure, I can handle it." That sentence removes uncertainty. Your manager feels relief. The task moves. The day survives. So the next urgent task follows the same path. Not because your manager has carefully measured everyone's workload, because their brain remembers where relief lives. Organizations become informal routing systems. Work travels towards speed, responsiveness, low conflict, and proven delivery. The reliable employee becomes the shortest path through the building. The problem is that ease of assignment looks like available capacity. Every time you absorb the work quietly, you teach the system that your plate has no edge. The reliability tax grows because 3 important things disappear. First, effort. When you make difficult work look easy, people remember the result and forget the cost. The cleaner the delivery, the smaller the labor appears. Second, trade-offs. New work never arrives alone. It displaces preparation, deep work, relationship building, and the project that might actually get you promoted. But if you do not name what moves, the trade-off remains invisible. Third, ownership. Helpful people often complete fragments inside other people's visible projects. They rescue the deck, fix the analysis, rewrite the email, calm the client, and disappear before the applause. This creates a painful contradiction. You can become operationally essential while remaining professionally optional. Your team cannot function without your labor, but leadership cannot clearly describe the higher level value you own. That is not a motivation problem. It is a visibility and allocation problem. Most people respond by becoming even more impressive. They answer faster, stay later, hide the strain, produce the same clean smile while their calendar develops a stress fracture. This feels like proof. Eventually, surely, somebody will notice. But the system usually reads a different message. Current allocation is working. If every extra task still arrives on time, there is no operational evidence that capacity has been exceeded. Your private exhaustion is not visible in the workflow. Then comes the competence penalty. Because you are good at rescue work, you keep receiving rescue work. Because rescue work consumes your time, you get fewer chances to lead planned work. Because you lead less visible work, you are seen as dependable support instead of the person ready for the next level. The trap is not that excellence is bad. The trap is letting excellence remain unpriced. You do not escape by becoming unreliable. You escape by making allocation visible. Before the next request, keep a simple capacity map, your active priorities, major deadlines, and the work only you can do. Not a diary, not a manifesto, a decision surface. Then, when new work arrives, stop answering the question, "Can you do this?" Almost anything is possible if sleep, quality, and next Thursday are treated as optional. Answer the real question: what should move so this can happen? Try this. I can take this. To meet Friday, should I pause the client analysis or move the onboarding draft to Monday? You are not refusing. You are returning the prioritization decision to the person who owns it. Or say, I have room for about 2 hours today. Which part creates the most value if I cannot finish all of it? That converts helpfulness from unlimited labor into a bounded resource. And when the request is genuinely small, help cleanly. The point is not to turn every favor into a hostage negotiation. The point is to stop pretending that meaningful work has no cost. The second move is to attach your effort to outcomes. Do not send a weekly list that says, answered emails, fixed slides, attended meetings, continued being mysteriously tired. Translate activity into impact. Recovered the client timeline by resolving the approval gap. Reduced onboarding rework by creating the handoff checklist. Protected the launch date by identifying the vendor dependency early. Now reliability is not a personality trait. It is evidence of judgment, systems thinking, and ownership. Next, convert repeated rescue work into a system. If you fix the same problem 3 times, do not become faster at suffering. Build the checklist, template, intake rule, or training that removes you from the loop. Then ask for scope that matches the value you are already producing. I have been coordinating the launch risks across 3 teams. I would like to formally own the readiness process for the next cycle. That sentence moves you from helpful participant to named owner. Being reliable should increase trust. It should not erase your boundaries. The goal is not to make helping difficult. It is to make the cost, trade-off, and outcome visible enough that helping is allocated intelligently. Before the ask, know your priorities and capacity. During it, answer with the trade-off, not an automatic yes. After it, connect the work to impact and convert repeated rescue into ownership or a system. Reliable does not mean unlimited. Helpful does not mean permanently available. And competence should create leverage, not merely a more efficient way to become exhausted. If the entire office collapses whenever you take a day off, congratulations, you are not underperforming. You are an undocumented piece of infrastructure. If this described your calendar a little too accurately, subscribe to Office Tells and tell me in the comments what task became your permanent job because you did it well once.